Every story has a protagonist, the main character who the story is about. Every protagonist has a want and a need. Every story has conflict. It wouldn't be a story without it. After the conflict is introduced, there's the rising action. The things that happen that build up to the story's climax. Then there is the climax. The entire story has been building up to this one moment, where the protagonist has a chance to meet his want, his need, both, or neither. After the climax comes the falling action, the aftermath of the climax. Did the protagonist achieve their want? Maybe their need? Did they meet both? Or did they leave empty-handed? Every season is a story for Coach Jay Ladner. This particular season is one he won't soon forget.
This was one that we told him, you keep giving yourself these opportunities. Don't let this one pass by to help our program move forward. And I thought we played great. I thought our players really responded, and one of the best defensive efforts we've had since I've been here, and they played with great energy and focus and determination, really, most of all. And so that was a great, and certainly the biggest game in terms of stakes that we've had since I've been here. It was the best environment, and it had all the elements, as you said, of a big-time Division I basketball game. And so it's great memory, especially of my time here at Southeastern.
Let's fast forward a week after that. You guys are heading down to Katy, Texas to play in the Southland Conference Tournament, but they're not only playing it, to be the #1 seed.
We've accomplished one of our goals, which was obviously to be the regular season champion. We were able to do that. We go to the semifinal. We play Sam Houston, a team that had beaten us earlier in the year, has been one of the conference powers. We were able to beat them and put us in the conference championship game. You know, and then we're playing the perennial, the Kentucky, in my opinion, the Kentucky of the Southland Conference in terms of their success, the literal domination of the league in the last 6 or 7 years. You know, the game could have gone either way. Obviously, it goes down the last 40 seconds, and they make a play and we don't. And give them credit, and they beat us in just what's ended up being a devastating loss for us. But you know, when you stop and after you can get over those emotions of that particular game, and after you look back, you're really proud. I'm really proud of our team and the progress that we've made.
And we continue following that breaking news this morning. We are following the shooting that was reported at Southeastern University in Hammond.
I don't think you can tell the story this season without kind of talking about something that happened in February that was, at the very least, a distraction. These are people you're spending time with more than your family. Whenever you hear that news initially, what is your initial response? Is it worry? Yes. Are you? It's concern. What are you feeling initially?
I got an early morning phone call. Anytime your phone rings after 12 o'clock, it's never good. And my initial thought was really something with my immediate family, my parents maybe, who are both over 80 years old. That's something, you know, because obviously I didn't know who was calling at that point, but one of our players was calling me and briefly told me, and I think my response would be like if it was one of my own children. And there were so many questions early in the morning. Obviously, you're waking up from a sleep, and your coach, you know, one of your guys is in the hospital. You know, immediately what's going on? You know, you start asking those immediate questions. Is he okay? Coach, he's okay as far as that's concerned. Has been injured, but is okay. So, you know, there's a certain amount of relief there, but there's so many unanswered questions, you know, and not knowing all the details. And it was a very devastating thing. And we were right in the middle of this incredible run at the end of the season where we won our last 9, you know, in a row, and to win the league. And that's happening right there at the end. And then as you you kind of get past the fact that, okay, everything's okay, all right, what's caused this, and so forth, and you start, what have I done wrong? Immediately start looking at yourself, what did we not do right? And then then you start worrying, as you've kind of gotten a good assurance that everything's okay, how is this going to affect our team? Well, it goes back to culture. There were two things that happened. One, they naturally unified, even stronger than they were. But the other thing, we had some other players that had been, again, the importance of practicing hard every day, that had not played as much, step right up in there, and it was, and again, did we miss those guys? Absolutely, we missed them. They're part of our family. Those were huge parts of our success. But on the other hand, we had some guys that just elevated right there. It was almost seamless. I'm proud of the players that were that were remaining on our team, the way that they unified, and I'm proud of the young men that now were forced into a more prominent role in terms of playing time, and absolutely rose to the occasion. That's a great way of putting it. They rose to the occasion. We've got a great nucleus coming back. Toward the end of the year, we ended up, some of the players that you just mentioned that had to rise to the occasion, those now, they got that little bit extra, they couldn't have played in more critical roles at a critical time in critical games. A lot of times, those players maybe that have played less minutes, they kind of get minutes toward the end of the games when the games have been decided. They were in the absolute. You couldn't get any minutes. You couldn't get the most pressure-filled minutes that they got. And so we're excited about what we have coming back. We've had some outstanding players that were sitting out last year due to transfer rules. That are going to be huge impacts. Trust me, they're going to be huge impacts for our team this coming year. Together, we've got a chance to have another very competitive team next year.
For the big game, I'm Wesley Boone.